Shalom, everybody, and welcome to Ripit. We haven't done a Ripit show in a while, in a month or so, but I'm the host today, Brian Reece. Welcome, everybody, to the broadcast. Ripping through reality, folks. It's going to be an interesting broadcast. I have my brother in Christ with me. I'm going to introduce him in a second. I just want to give a shout out to everybody in the broadcast, in the chat, for being here today and coming. It's basically an impromptu broadcast. It was like 2 hours ago I planned it. I said, hey, let's get a Rip It because I had few little issues the last day or so. So thank God that everything has worked out, that we can manage this broadcast. But yeah, ripping through the reality. Me and brother Cody in the house. Well, that's not Cody. Hang on a minute, Sir Cody. I got some. Let's see if I can pull you up here. That's welcome to Rip It. There you go, Cody. Welcome to Rip It, my friend. How the heck are you?
Shalom, brother. Doing good, man. Good to see you again.
Yeah, same here, man. It's a blessing to see you. And here we are today, Cody in the house. We're going to be talking about ripping through reality. Talk about some of the things going on in the news. I was going to make an announcement too real quick. Brother John Hall couldn't make it. He had a lot of stuff going on. He's a really busy man right now. Brother Dan is possibly asleep. Possibly. The man never sleeps. He works night shift and everything and lifting weights during the day and pulling double shifts and doing wrestling and all that. So I don't know if he's awake. I would make a little smart like quirky comment that like I always do on the Rip It. Where's Dan? I know where John is, but where's Dan? And Cody, you're here, man. So let's talk about what's going on in the news. Let's talk about what we've seen. We've been shooting text back and forth via text. All these screenshots, pictures, and stuff that's going on up in the sky. The eclipse that just happened several days ago was at the 14th, if I'm not mistaken, around your area. X marks the spot. I think you all seen it a little bit better than we did in Texas. Is that correct, Cody?
Yeah, it was a eerie little occurrence, that's for sure. Put those little eclipse-shaped shadows on stuff. We were able to get some pictures on our phone, and like the reflection of it in the camera caught the eclipse. It was wild, man. But yeah, we got to see it real good.
Yeah, I seen some wild anomalies, man. Like people saying, "Hey, Brian, did you see this UFO coming out of this?" There was a bunch of people on Facebook and social media platforms saying, "Hey, did you catch this? I caught this. I was in Arkansas. I was in all these different places on the earth." I'm thinking, man, what is going on? And then I seen some like weird stuff with the out your all's way. Deployment of different things. The border's wide open. There's all kinds of military activity. We got the Chinooks. We got all the helicopters. We got every type of military application going on the West Coast too, in Oregon, I think too, out that way. And then even in the middle of the Americas here, Texas and everything. So it's a little bizarre time to be alive right now, Cody. But hey,
I agree, man.
Thank God for breath that's in our veins, man, in our lungs. So the blood. Thank God for Jesus, right? So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. Here on the Ribbit program, we talk about wild variety. The last time we did one was last month. I think it was biting monkey chips on the Ribbit. Today we're not really biting. Well, speaking of biting, I got to tell you a story, Cody, and maybe you can relate to this. Have you noticed anything weird? We got these eclipses. We got all this stuff going on in the sky. Have you noticed something weird about the animals? Has animals acted up? Has anything strange with the animals out your way in Texas? Just anything. Just throw it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. What do you think?
Man, it's funny you say that because the day of the eclipse, I didn't see a single bird fly through the sky. No chemtrails. That was like the one day where everything was clear. And I mean, just perfectly clear sky. And then, yeah, no birds. Everything was pretty quiet. And we were inside, and it looked like, the sun was setting in the middle of the day. And we just went outside and looked, and it was weird. But yeah, the animals were acting very bizarre. Our animals didn't know what to do with themselves, really. But yeah, just kind of weird. I had talked to our neighbor too, and he had mentioned that the last time the eclipse rolled through our area, I guess several years ago, that all the crickets, when it happened, all the crickets in the area started chirping and going off, and then as soon as it passed, then they quit again. So it definitely has an effect on wildlife for sure.
Hmm. Well, here's what I've noticed. This is actually firsthand. I haven't got to do a broadcast since this happened the other night. It happened not last night, but the night before. Here's the anomalies I've seen with the whole animal, and it's kind of strange. And you can actually back this up with mainstream media. There's a lot of speculation and stuff, but there has been documents with, we're talking about four-legged animals, dogs. Well, we encountered a dog the other day. My son has learned how to drive. He's got his permit and all that good stuff. So he blessed me by driving me to. I had to go to the post office. So this is late. In the post office, you can get to the P.O. box like 24/7, right? So it's like 10 o'clock at night. We're driving back home. No joke, Cody. I'm not making this up. So there's these two dogs come out of nowhere. And my son, you know how young kids are. They're like trying to be very responsible, and they don't want to tear up mom and daddy's vehicle up, right? So a big old sheepdog goes across the street. Good night, man. It's like 70. It's a huge dog. I can't even really make out what breed it was, but it was because look, visual disturbance. Welcome, But big old white. It looks like something 75-pound plus dog. And all of a sudden, because he brakes, he slows down, and all of a sudden, his compadre, his amigo, his Robin, Batman Robin. I'm making kind of quirky analogies here to Hollywood narratives, but anyways, Robin comes up and like blasts the car, dude. Like he grabs a hold of the back fender of the van and literally takes his, I'm not making this up, takes his mouth and bites my van and just puts deep dents in it and scrapes it with his teeth. I was like, what are we in, Twilight? Is this the movie Twilight or something? We got werewolves and lichens running around here? I was like, only in Kentucky, man. I said, is he going to stand up on his back legs and start tipping the van over? And I was like, go, because I was telling him not to hit him. I was like, try to not to hit him. And because he kind of come down to a slow crawl, he's still driving, 8 miles an hour, 10, and he was like, just kind of ease on. The dog was not letting up. Cody, the dog was not letting up.
Oh, my gosh.
And I said, he's going to tear the vehicle up. And I wouldn't dare get out, right? I was like, just go. And we finally got him to kind of detach from the van, right? And I could feel it. I was like, I can feel him. He's off the van, but he's like still mad. I don't know what's happening, right? So we're driving down the road and we get back home and we take a flashlight. And I say, look at the indentions and the scratch and the bite marks on the fender. He was literally biting it, and put dents. So I said, what kind of, the bite, his strength, his grip strength on this jaw must have been, what is that? And I know it had to have been like a 80-pound, 75+ pound dogs on both of them. Because you could feel it hitting the van. It was, moving the van. I'm like, so what's your take on that? Because I can kind of back it up on some data that's been coming out in the last month or so. What do you think about that? Because you got the bird anomalies. I got the lichens and werewolves and the, whatever type of stuff. The chupacabras are coming out of the ground. I don't know what's coming out of the ground over here in Kentucky. But what do you think about that?
Man, I think that your insurance company isn't going to believe you if you make a claim. That's for sure. That's crazy.
Listen, we've been, the insurance company, I tell you. Yeah.
It's weird because, and I know you're knowledgeable on a lot of the Native American different tribal understandings about the celestial occurrences and their opinions on the eclipses and stuff. And there's up in Idaho, the Shoshone Indians, they believe, they would go in and they would close everything up. They believe that bad things happen to bad people, or bad things in general would happen during those eclipses. And like the Aztecs, they would talk about how it was a fight of these kind of like entities in a fight with the sun, overcoming most of it. And so, there's definitely a spiritually charged environment, whether it's something that they're creating. I think that a lot of the occult world builds a lot of this stuff up, but there's undoubtedly just bizarre occurrences during these times. And right now too, like in Texas, I think yesterday through the 21st right now is also the Orionid meteor shower going on. Mm-hmm. And then the 24th is the Leonis as well. So it's definitely has to have an effect on the circadian rhythm of these animals, I would assume. But mixed with all the frequency wars that we're in, there's no telling, man.
Well,
But what's your data you got?
so literally, there was a gentleman. I think it was Marfugel News. I think his name is Adam. Right, he runs that. He runs that channel. Well, I don't know where they got on the subject. They was talking about something. He was talking about wild variety. I think he was talking about the war and everything going on right now. And then this is like with the Ukraine at the moment. This was like a month ago. But how many wars do we have going on right now, Cody? I mean, it's hard to keep up. But anyways, he's talking about the war in Ukraine, all that, and trying to be informative. And then all of a sudden there was a conversation piece. I think is I didn't forget the gentleman's name. They run it together. There's two men, and I know the one's an Adam, and I can't remember the other guy's name to save my life right now. Forgive me. But anyways, they talk about these dogs. They talk about dogs and everything, and the situation with the dogs, like all over America and all over the world. I've been hearing a little chatter even before I heard this comment, but it really kind of set in when I heard about Marfugel guy talking about it, and I said that's very strange and compelling. So I just put it on the shelf. I was like, well, this is weird. So the canine, there's these dog, there's dogs, accounts where dogs having been biting they're older dogs. Some of them are younger, 4 or 5 years old, and they're biting the people, their family, like just out of the blue. All right. And this is way before you got your Eclipse and all this other, and way before we did the emergency broadcast also, all these different things. So you're talking about frequencies. What was so strange about it? After the biting situation happened, they would days would go on, and they started feeling symptoms of some shape or form. And this is what it was strange to me. So I'll go back to my point and sum it up here in a second. But I started experiencing some type of weird anomaly, symptoms of some shape or form. Well, behold, a few weeks ago, I come across Twitter. Our commander-in-chief, that's all I'm going to say, our commander-in-chief, you know who we're talking about. Commander-in-chief at the White House had a canine, right? And it was a family pet. Well, it started, I'm not kidding you, I don't have the Twitter link right now or whatnot, but it demonstrated the same, it was coming down with the same kind of vibe, I hate to use that term, but started biting the employees and everybody there, and they had to remove it from the facility. And I'm hearing chatter about this, like people in different countries and all over America, they're having to either give their dogs to call animal control or whatever scenario means that they deem necessary for the actions of whatever's happening. There's my take. And I thought it was strange whenever you have, we're getting ready to go werewolf on me the other night, and the dogs, I was like, who the heck does have these beautiful dogs outside at 10 o'clock and there's nobody keeping these dogs? I mean, they're well fed, okay? They're tearing my van down, like ripping it up. And speaking of insurance claims, I have not even got to that because it looks like my van has been shot with a shotgun because the hail balls from last June, we haven't even addressed that because we haven't even, but anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But what do you think about the whole dog thing? And man, I mean, isn't it bizarre?
It is bizarre. One thing that kind of came to mind when you were talking about that is, and I know we're on YouTube, so we can't say a lot of different stuff, but whenever you are following the guidance of people in certain fields and you're inoculating your animals with heavy metals and stuff like that, the amount of resistance and also the amount of effect frequencies play when something is more so dosed with higher levels of heavy metals. I've read stuff about that, like the more maybe that certain dogs have received, maybe they have a higher concentration. And so I know frequency definitely plays an effect on aggravation. And I've seen studies and videos of them using it militarily to cause aggression in the people it's targeted on. So I don't see why something that weighs a lot less than a human would maybe feel more so like targeted and amplified effects of certain things. But also, who really knows, man? That's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, I'm over here thinking like, I use a quote from a Back to the Future film, fourth dimensional, fourth dimensional kind of standpoint on it. But it's kind of interesting. Even like 2 years ago, you're talking about, you said the word that there's certain words we can't say on this platform, but in the last, was it 2 years ago, there was camels, there was certain types of animals at zoos and facilities that was attacking people, right? Isn't it kind of interesting, right? But I don't know. I guess it's seen a blue van. Because it's a blue van, you're getting where I'm going, right? So I guess there's the occupants with blue roofs, blue vans. The little nano is saying,
interesting.
Attack, blue. Get the blue off the foundation of the earth, off the face of the earth. But it's just funny. I thought about that too. It's just kind of how my mind works. But it was bizarre, Cody. Bizarre, man. I don't know. And then what was so bad is connecting the dots too. Like all of it was all coming together like one big puzzle piece, one big package. And I'm thinking, so there's this connection with the dogs. There's a dog attacking the van. That's the first thought, and I wasn't even mad about it. I was like, just let it chew the fender off. I mean, let's just try to drive on, And I'm not even going to assess the damage until we get back home. It was kind of funny. It was kind of funny, but not. And then other people would have probably panicked, but I was just like, you know what? I can't even do nothing if I wanted to right now. So, yeah, that's a little bizarre. But, yeah, getting back on the subject with the beginning of the broadcast, the eclipse and everything, I know you sent me a picture. Do you want to comment on this picture? I have it pulled up. I think I do. Well, welcome to Ripit, everybody. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, please do. And I really appreciate it. Me and John, Dan, and Sir Cody here would really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. And we're trying to build this channel up. I think we're like at 265 subscribers. It really would help us if we could try to get to 500 here soon. And we're going to try to do at least broadcast every month. And like I said, we're kind of we're just trying to do a little bit more fun and have a more relaxed, just talk about all kinds of wide variety topics and just be, not a stressful, just off the cuff and just a relaxed, environment. So thank you for being here, Cody. But let's speak about this picture that you sent me.
Oh yeah.
The picture with the one that you said that was 15 minutes out of your on your hometown or in your hometown. It looks like, this is the day of the eclipse, but it looks like I'm pretty sure this is the same. Well, there's a video on this. Did you see the video? Mm-hmm. I don't have the video pulled up, but I know that I've seen it looks very similar. There's like this pulse and like this.
Yes.
It looks like an implosion of something. So go ahead and elaborate on that. Go ahead and comment on it. Mm-hmm.
Well, a few months ago, one happened in one of the community pages in our area, and this is in Texas. Somebody had posted a video and was just like, "Did anyone see this?" And you can read all the comments of the people, in the area saying, "Yeah, I saw that," posting their videos in these threads. And the interesting thing is you would think, okay, if it was a propulsion of some kind, it would be moving away from it. But it's actually that little ring of vapor or smoke or whatever goes out in front of it, and then the light goes into the vapor. And so it's just kind of a bizarre backwards occurrence. But people have been posting that. And like I said, we've had some weird stuff in the sky, some green, falling stars or meteors or whatever. Earlier this year, in February, about an hour from us, they had 1,000-pound meteor slam into the ground, and that's what they're saying. But all this celestial stuff going on, and now people are catching it on film, and they're trying to say it's Starlink, or it seems like anything in the sky is Elon Musk. They're giving it credit to him or something that he's doing up there, or satellites or whatever. But I just have a different take on meteors in general, or shooting stars, or any of this stuff. So to me, I just think that that's wildly strange, high strangeness for sure. I don't know.
Have you ever thought about, speaking of comments or meteorites, have you ever thought about it? While here in the last year, they said they can't track them all. right? Remember that we don't have the technology to track them all. We can't keep up with all of them, right? Well, it's kind of interesting that they'll navigate or hone in on one, and then they'll just project it all over the airways,
Right.
all over the television. Say, hey, check this one out. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T copper belt. Whatever. They make up some kind of lame excuse name I've ever seen. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know. Whoever makes these names are terrible. I'm just going to throw that out there. But anyways, has it ever occurred to you, like, the strangeness? And they'll be on site. Like there'll be this green, emerald-looking glow, blue glow. It's blowing up through the atmosphere. It's imploding and incinerating through the intensive heat, right? And they
say it's the size of a grain of sand.
Yeah, the grain of
That's
sand.
what's unreal.
I know.
I
mean, my goodness, man, look. Pew, pew, pew. I mean, I'm dodging them right now, man. There's dust everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can implode any moment, man. Welcome to Ripit, you know. Well, I got microorganisms, everything floating around, you know. The particulates. I mean, I got stars of dust everywhere, man. And even my vision, Cody, I see pixels and distortion all the time, man. So my eyeballs are getting ready to blow out of my sockets. So, man, welcome, you know. I mean, it'd be like the Book of Eli before it's all the movie Book of Eli. I'll be doing that here soon in real life, probably, the way the world is. But seriously, a grain of sand. It just blew up. It just imploded a whole neighborhood. But then here's the funny part. So you'll have a big one, and they'll have it in Russia, different countries, and they're like, and you hear all the different, you know, you can't interpret the languages, and then they'll be like zooming in on it with this like really distorted camera, you know, or, you know, then they'll like confiscate all those cameras, because I think some of these countries have smartphones, but I think the megapixels and everything, they're a little bit behind us as far as the tech. That's my opinion. The Machu Picchu narrative, the whole alien stuff, that they can't get a good quality picture. It's always distorted and blurry. But it's interesting, like they'll be like, it's okay, for example, they're like imploding grains of sand, but watch out now. But then these guys are like, oh, you know, they're going up to it, like they're trying to speak, and they're like, you know, translating their English, and they're like, look at that, this is so amazing. And then they're like literally walking up to it and getting ready to touch it. Okay, so, but there's nothing about like what happens to these people. Do they have radiation poisoning? Is their skin falling off? You know, all this. They've dumbed us down so much with the Hollywood narrative that we resonate with a sci-fi movie about skin falling off, right? So the radiation's so hot, but then there's a meteorite coming at like Mach 40 billion, right? According to what they say. And here's another thing. I'll let you talk real quick. So why doesn't it, if it's such of impact, right? Why doesn't it cause a huge damage? Why doesn't it just like obliterate? Like, if it's coming at, like, just think about this for a minute. We got these rockets, that's all I'm going to say, in other countries right now, causing total annihilation, destruction, right? And there's small pockets. Some of them are putting craters. Some of them are demolishing buildings. How does a rock that's coming in like 400 billion miles an hour, just rock it? What do you say? What do you say, Cody? Come on now. We're talking like, come on.
Well, this one in Texas is 1,000 pounds, you know, but these other ones are a grain of sand. And then, you know, you got the stars that are supposedly burning gaseous balls of gas, you know, and just burning up in space. But then you've got these meteors that are falling, and they seem to be bigger than the star. It's just they're a little bit off on everything. They're not keeping their story straight because, it clearly isn't a rock just falling through the atmosphere. But it's hard to keep up with them, man. And the majority of these people, even if they get good footage, they are just going to wait for an explanation from their government and then believe them. And they're like, oh, cool. You know, whatever their explanation is, they just roll with it. So it doesn't even matter if they get it on footage, you know?
Yeah. Instead of storm chasers, meteor chasers, we have one coming in. It's starting to descend, and she's starting to slow down, Cody. She's starting to slow down. Do you have your EMF reader? She's starting to slow down. She's actually hovering across the corn shucks. I mean, she's going across the garden there. You know, she's kind of, you know what I mean, and then it's so bad. It's so bad. And then
It is. Well, I feel like we're the only culture that thinks of them like that. Like the Greeks, the Romans,
Mhm.
the Aztecs, the Native Americans, the Celtics, everyone associated them with something spiritual, whether it was the traveling of a departed soul or the banishment of a soul, an entity into the underworld, or the uh, the movement of a deity, or something coming to Earth, and you seeing kind of that entering into this, our second heaven or whatever you would call it. But even guys like Plato wrote that these stars I mean, he says in Timaeus and Critias that the stars and planets were given souls. And so, I mean, it's funny that we're the ones that come out with all our high tech and telescopes, and we're like, no, it's a grain of sand, or it's a 1,000 pound rock from space. Just ridiculous, man.
What's those what's those things that they use like in that are on boats? They deploy it's like a javelin. It has the net comes out. What's it called? My brain's not working.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember
I'm gonna call it javelin. Everybody in the chat help me out here.
harpoon.
Harpoon. Deploy the harpoon. And you can see it like I need you to precisely hit the red laser on it, Cody. It's moving at 100 billion mile. I can see it though. It's slowing down for me. Deploy deploy. Could you? I mean, come on. I mean, it'll make you the nonsense. It's over. It's over. The nonsense. Anybody with any kind of critical thinking mind. And then the first thing that you got to come down to the realization of is having the walk of Christ, like Holy Spirit giving you discernment on all levels, and you have to literally test the spirits. Well, that would relate to a dog chewing your van, or a UFO, or a rock that looks blue and green, or looks like a Mountain Dew can, or whatever the narrative is. You discern what you see. Like, you're not going to be
Right.
like, well, let's evaluate this and come up with some kind of complex, analytical, we've acknowledged the chemistry set, I mean, and what's so bad about it, right? That's what, get back to our conversation a minute ago. There's people going up and touching these things, like the meteors and stuff. And then there's
Oh, I know.
this whole huge team comes in with like, hazmat suits and everything. And they're like, it's so deadly. It's so dangerous. We got to confiscate all this. And there's like, it'll make your urine turn blue. I mean, they're making, you know what I'm saying? It's absurd. It's absurd, Cody. It's crazy, man. I'm sorry to go there. I just couldn't help it, but
No, it's
it just,
crazy, man. It
yeah,
really is.
it's crazy.
It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it makes you laugh, but I'm trying not to be too sarcastic. I can't really help it. It's like nobody tells us anything. So like if nobody teaches you anything, how are you supposed to understand it? And then when somebody comes on there with this textbook scenario that they're well versed in their textbooks, do they even know what they're talking about? That's my question. Do you
They
know?
don't.
They
And
don't. They can't.
they don't.
They
And it's
can't.
funny too, like reading people like Plato and different stuff that like the liberal sciences and stuff hold in high regards. If they really did read these people, man, it's some of the stuff in these books, it would not fly with the world, the liberal world of science today, or just the ethics. I mean, it is hilarious.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't know, man. The deception is unreal, and they are coming out in full force with the deception. And I was thinking, it brought a verse in Job to mind where it talks about asking the animals, and
Mm.
with Balaam's donkey and stuff. I believe truly that the Father created the animals, and that they're very sensitive, and sometimes to the spiritual, and sometimes they can see things that we can't, um, or sense things that we can't. You spend time with horses, or and dogs and stuff like that. They are very sensitive to their surroundings, and I believe that something is ramping up for sure in the spiritual,
Yeah.
as we move closer and closer with these uh, sacrifices and on a massive scale, and these just horrible things. Look to any ancient culture, and this is when things start to happen. Their whole as above, so below. Um, a lot of these entities that they worship are the entities of war and destruction, and nothing's changed. Nothing's new under the sun. So it's like you said, you got to keep your mind on Christ, dude, because it is a lot.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's crazy to have conversations about these things with your friends, people you know in your whole life, and they're like rattling off NASA's descriptions, and it's just bizarre.
it's brainwashing. That's all
It
it
is.
is. Like, if you can't get past one narrative, like, and they drill it in your head, like when you're a young child. And then if you get into an adult and you're still repeating what the kindergarten teacher told you, I mean, where's the growth? I'm not scoffing at anybody or mocking anybody, but where's the growth? Like, can you at least be transparent and open-minded to understanding that this could be a lie?
I agree.
I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I'm dodging little grains of sand. You know what I'm saying? I'm dodging the sand particles, man. Don't you see everything blowing up? You know what I mean? And don't you see everything just coming off the rails and everything just, isn't death and destruction at every corner? Isn't life just horrible? That's what people's mentality is now. It just seems strange. But I made a mistake. I accidentally showed it earlier. You wasn't aware of it, but that photo I put up on my Visual Disturbance channel the other day that was above my house, I wanted to touch base on it and just talk about it for a minute. Did you see that? Did you see that broadcast? The one that I did, what was in the sky?
I did.
And that red anomaly that was up in the sky, it looks like a Stargate. That's what Brother Dan said. He said, dude, that's a portal. So, and this is like at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, it's like 2 a.m. I think it was like 2:12, something like that, somewhere in that time frame. And this was the morning before the eclipse. So this is that night. And before the eclipse was supposed to be projected to go over top, basically where you live in Texas, I was getting the red dawn effect.
Dude,
So
that was eerie, man.
was,
I mean, unfortunately, I've read the works of Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons and those guys and John Dee, and I mean, I believe people are actively opening portals and tears and in the space-time continuum, or whatever you want to call it, trying to rip the veil,
ripping through reality.
Yeah, what men have always tried to do, what it talks about in the Gospels about, in my opinion, entering the sheepfold, not through the door. They're trying to access the heavens without the sun, and so I fully believe that. I mean, if it was being done then, it's being done now. And I think that, the area that you live in and the ley lines and the spiritually charged areas of what was done in the early Americas by the natives in your area too, man, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. It really caught me off guard though. And then what was so bad is what you was sending me. I was like, man, and then you're sending me stuff. I'm getting a bunch of via text messages from via Messenger and on Facebook and everything. But I was like, and then the text messages you sent me last night, I was like, well, it is going to be red dawn. Speaking of the picture on the screen there. But yeah, it's Texas is looking kind of interesting.
It is
something to ponder on. And well, this whole world, man, it seems like I'll tell you this, it's getting on a different, well, it's the same subject, but spiritually, you just talk about frequency and everything. I've noticed people acting very strangely too. Speaking of animals acting strangely, I've seen humans. Well, I hope some of them are human. I got a little reptilian rocking around here. No, I have to have some fun here on Ripit, but yeah, take it for what it is. There's some type of weirdness going on. People just seem strange. Just even if they're book smart and know a lot and know everything they think that they know, or under the sun, like everything, they might know the Bible. There's people that know the Bible better than I do, and then they'll say, "Yep, the rockets are being deployed. Elon Musk is deploying the Starlink. You know what I mean? There's multi-billions of planets." And I'm like, where does that say that in the Bible? And they're well versed. They're well versed in the scriptures, right? but then they'll mock you and scoff at, like, what are you doing? You must not love the Lord if you don't believe in the billions of planets. Well, did you ever travel to one? You know what I'm saying? Did William Shatner pick you up in his blue rocket? Did William Shatner show up at your door? Hello, Star Trek, beam me up. I'm not going to say it. I don't know if you watched that program that night on Back to the Future, Decoded. Great, SCOTT. Did you ever think about that? It says, beam me up, Scott T. Think about it. I'm just throwing it up there. I didn't bring it up in the Back to the Future program, but speaking of, Star Trek, think about it. Think about it. I mean, you can't
it's all over, man.
And the logo. I don't know. I know you're well versed in I'm not going to speak about it, but there's an organization that you used to be part of, and I know it's a lot there. I mean, this stuff, and coming from a person that is walking the walk with Christ now, you see it, don't you, Cody? You see it. You're observing it. You've been there, done that, touched these things, observed, used to read different materials, do certain things, and now your eyes are open, and now the conditioning, you're basically having to recalibrate and shift away from the old man aspect, and the new man, you're having to fight this, to get on that narrow path. So I'll let you talk the rest of the program.
Oh no, man! It makes you realize the spiritual nature of most things, and when you start realizing, like you said, the deception of all the space narrative and all that, just going by what the Bible says, it keeps you out of trouble, keeps you from being deceived. If you understand the nature of your reality and what you're up against, then you can understand how to fortify your mind, how to move forward, how to protect yourself from being deceived, and not forgetting those spiritual experiences that you had on the other side of things before walking out the narrow path. Because, man, I was talking to my wife about it the other day, but just the ramping up of the evil and its celebration on TV or movies or whatever, you can just feel it in the air. You can feel the intensity of lyrics in songs just being just blatantly satanic, the imagery, all the bands utilizing the satanic imagery, sigils, on their t-shirts, rocking and knocking sigils from, some of the darkest rituals of all time. I mean, it's just being paraded, and those hold weight in the spiritual realm. So whether you like it or not, it's bringing things that are clinging to you, or anytime that we're glorifying these things, speaking about them, people just don't understand the weight of our words and the weight of symbology and ritualism. And so, I mean, even in the lodge that I was previously a member of, I don't know what it was. Somebody had tagged a buddy of mine on Facebook, and they're doing ghost hunting in that lodge, and doing like paranormal searches, saying stuff's moving around. I mean, just inviting this type of communing with spirits in their lodge halls. And so there's a consequence, and there's a price that comes with stuff like that. But that would have never been something that went down years ago, whenever, like, it's just even the ramping up in unsuspecting lodge members, just allowing these things to be a part of their organizations, man. And you can see just the decline into spiritual depravity. It's a sad thing, but we knew, that the great falling away has to happen first. And we're seeing this shift into a time when, I don't know, we're going to see the goats separated from the sheep, and it's getting pretty blatantly obvious where most things that the world promotes is got that evil with it, man. It's got to guard our minds and guard our children.
Amen. And then, well, real quick, it means the ascension. You hear about the New Age narrative, the ascension, to ascend, the Christ consciousness, all that, and it all relates. Like all these things, even we're having a little humor, fun with the UFO stuff and all that, but it all relates. And just like you said, with the Indians, the Aztec, all these different cultures, They observed, they knew it, they know how to communicate, and but wait, up the road from Brother John Hall, I think they take ayahuasca at a church before they,
Oh, nice.
before they have a get together, a big old shindig, get the fish frying, get the raffle tickets. We're all getting a kick on Route 66. I'm being a little mean. I'm being a little mean here, but you're getting a little going down the magic pony ride, right? You're going to hallucinate. You're getting You're hallucinating. So what does that have to do with Christ? Like, I just want to throw it out there. And manipulation of the pineal gland is very dark. And it's so loose off people's lips, even with the medical, let's just say that, the medical world, it's loose. It's loose. I've got some stories I can share, but I'm not going to share them on this. I'm going to do it way down the road, but go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Maybe we save that for another ripit, and because I can tell you firsthand about doing that stuff. And that was part of what sent me on my journey to seeking God, because of seeing the darkness. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing godly about doing that stuff. Yeah. The only thing that you're going to do is you're going to get manipulated in a spiritual realm by spiritual entities that are pure evil, and they're ancient, and they know how to manipulate your mind. And so when you're in that state, you are completely malleable, mm-hmm. and just totally defenseless to being deceived. And so I think it's very obvious that stuff is not of the Father.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
So any church that's promoting that or doing that, it's just blatantly sinful. And I would say that you need to really, get baptized and pray for forgiveness, and don't do that again, man, because it will bring spiritual heaviness to your life.
Amen. Well, it's interesting too. And people in the chat, it's DMT, LSD is the new term to what we're talking about here.
And the ancients would have to do very dark rituals, mm-hmm. To get the effects and the entering of the spiritual realm, mm-hmm. that people now can do by just smoking something. Well, I mean, it's very powerful, very, very spiritually dangerous, and witchcraft.
It can be done with, not only that, it can be done with VR headsets. Boom, boom, shattering, ripping through the reality. There you go. But no, seriously, I know you've probably seen it. I've talked about it a little bit on spiritual warfare, but they've matched up anybody that's been manipulated with DMT, LSD, their brain is firing off the same with the whole VR narrative. Like, it's almost the same kick. It's in comparison. So once they jack into that, welcome to the Matrix, everybody. And you're literally going to be altering your state of consciousness. That's what Brother Cody's here talking about. And when somebody's saying that's just all hallucinations, like you're hallucinating, there's nothing there. Mm-hmm. There's nothing there. Your peripheral is not picking anything up. You're just you're hallucinating. You're under a paraphernalia. You're under, a drug-related state. You can't see it. Like, that's just your brain firing off neurons, the cerebral core, all these different things, right? It's absurdity. That's almost say. It's almost say. But I know I told you about 45 minutes. I'm not trying to cut you short. I know that you've been so blessed. You blessed me here today, Cody. I know you took time out of your job here to get on here with me on the Ripit program. I don't want to cut everybody short. I hope everybody's enjoyed the podcast. Hit that like button, that subscribe button. But Cody, I want you to talk and end us out, man. You end us out, and whatever you have to say, just if it takes 10 minutes, whatever time you have left to spare, you have the floor, my friend. Mm-hmm.
Man, I appreciate it, brother, and it's always a blessing coming on and just being able to talk about things that you can't really talk to other people about, but just getting the truth out there, doing it, in a laid back way, and just kind of seeing where the Holy Spirit leads, because man, we are rolling into some confusing times. There's a lot going on, and it's easy to get discouraged, but it's also easy to get lazy. And there's a lot of ways that we can be lazy and just kind of, zone out. But something that the Father's kind of put on my heart and been challenging me and convicting me is to, push forward and be productive, be moving forward, still building the kingdom, not letting this get us down, and continually just seeking after the water bearer. And he calls all those who thirst to come to him. And so sometimes it seems like that's just a baby Christian type thing, but it's like, really, man, sometimes you have to make it a conscious effort to seek him out and ask him to give you a refill of the Holy Spirit and just fill you up, rejuvenate you. And I think that it's more important now more than ever, and I'm talking to myself first, that we prioritize our prayer life, seeking the Father, reading his word, and then just living it out so other people can watch, because they're watching us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now is our time to shine. I think everybody kind of messed it up. We dropped the ball in COVID, and I think now is our time to shine, brother. So I just want to say, blessings to you and your family, all the people listening. And I hope everyone just has a good day and is strong and courageous in the Most High.
Well, thank you, Brother Cody. Awesome ending words for the program. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for the love and support for all the stuff that we do. And all the ministries are, the whole ministry. It's just awesome. So I'm just thankful to gather here, and just for the blessing and everybody in the chat. We had quite a few people in the chat today, Cody, but it's a blessing.
Right on.
It's a blessing. And thank you all for just coming on here, just this impromptu broadcast. But yeah, share this thing out. And I hope everybody has a lovely day, and all is well. And just pray for a light winter, light winter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking for a light winter. But shalom, everybody. Thank you, Brother Cody, and be blessed. Everybody have a great day. Shalom.
Shalom, brother.